Hello everyone. In the last episode, we built our first AEM component. To make it editable, we copied a dialog from another component. It worked, but we did not build it ourselves. Today, we build one from scratch. This is the deep dive on AEM Dialogs. By the end of this video, you will be able to build any dialog. Welcome back to AEM Insider. Let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. What is a dialog? A dialog is the form that opens when an author clicks the configure icon on a component. It has fields. The author fills them in and clicks save. The values are stored in the repository. The component reads those values and renders them on the page. That's the whole idea. Here is the most important thing to understand today. A dialog is a set of nodes in the repository. Those nodes describe the form. Let's try to understand anatomy of dialog. Every dialog has same basic structure. Learn the shape once and you can read any dialog in any project. Let's walk through it slowly, node by node from the top. At the top, a node called CQ:dialog. It will be present inside your component right next to your HTML file. The name matters. When the author clicks configure, AEM looks for a node with this exact name. If it is present, the dialog opens. If it does not, there is no configure option at all. Now look at the resource type next to it. CQ, GUI, components, authoring, dialog. The line tells AEM, read me as a authoring dialog. Every dialog in every project starts with this exact line. And here is the thing to understand about resource types in general. The value of a resource type is always a component. It's a path, and at that path lives a component that knows how to render this node. Every node in this tree points at a little component that renders one piece of the form. A container, a tab strip, a text field. These building blocks ship with AEM under /libs. And they have a name, Granite UI components. Inside CQ dialogs, a node called content. The name is fixed too. The dialog expects it. Content is the body of the form. Its resource type is Granite container. A container does one simple job. It renders its children, nothing more. And where do these children live? In a node called items. Look closely at the tree. Items node does not have any sling resource type. That's because items is not a component. It is just a holder. Every container has one. That's why you see items repeating every level. Container, tabs, fixed columns, all these components will be considered as a container components. That's why whenever we use these components, you will see a items node below it. Under this items node, we have tabs node. Resource type is Granite Foundation tabs. Each child of this node become one clickable tab in the dialog. Go one level deeper. Tab 1. Look at its resource type. It is again container. That surprised people. A tab is not a special thing. It is just a container. And the tab component above it shows it as a tab. The node name does not matter here. And inside tab items, the field, directly a text field, a select. Each field is one node pointing at one Granite form component. This is where the author actually types. Enough with the theory. Here is what we are going to build. We are going to create a teaser component. That component going to have 4 tabs, 6 types of fields, 2 level of multifields. Over to CRXDA. This is my AEM server. Let's log in. Go to CRXDA. Under components node, I am going to create my teaser component. Right click, create node. The node type going to be CQ component. and my component name is teaser. As you can see, it shows that the node with this name already exists. That means there is already a teaser component here. Let's delete this and create it again. Save it. Now right click again, create node, teaser. Click OK. Let's add title to my component. And I am going to use same component group that I have used for card. Right click, copy, go to your teaser component, right click and paste. This is my component group. Now let's create one HTML file. Now I have created my teaser component. Let's try to add this component in our page. Inside EN page, I am going to create one more page for our teaser component. Select your template, and this is my page title, create and open. My page is ready. Now let me add my teaser component. As you can see, I was unable to see my teaser component in my page editor. That is because teaser component should have at least a CQ::dialog node or edit config node. One of the nodes should be present inside teaser component. Otherwise, it will not be shown in the page editor. Let's create CQ::dialog node here. My node type going to be empty unstructured. One note here. Whatever nodes I am going to create inside this CQ::dialog node, all nodes are of type empty unstructured. Save it. Now let's refresh my page and try to add the component again. Now I can see my teaser component. After adding this, you can see a null here. That is because your HTML is empty. Let's add something here. Now refresh our page. Okay. Now I can see my H1. Let's try to click this configure icon. Nothing is coming because we just created CQ::dialog node, but we haven't added anything to it. Let's try to add sling resource type to our CQ::dialog. And its value going to be this one. Now refresh our page. Try to open dialog. Now you can see dialog, but the dialog does not have any fields and the title also missing here. Let's try to add one by one. Now I am going to add title to my dialog. Save it. Now let's refresh this again and try to see. Now the title is available. Let's add fields to my dialog. As I mentioned earlier, inside CQ::dialog node, we need to have a node called content. Let's create content. And its node type is empty unstructured. And copy this property, add it here, and update it with the container. This is body of our dialog. Inside this, we are going to have a node called items because this is a container component. Inside items, I am going to create node for tabs. Update the sling resource types. Save it. As I mentioned earlier, tabs also a container component. So inside tabs, I am going to create one more node for items. Now I am going to create a node for tab 1. Make sure you should not put any spaces in the node names. Click Save All and add property container. Now my tab 1 also done. As this is a container, again I need to create items. Inside items, now we can create our fields. Now let's try to create a text field for title. Right click, create node and title. And this same resource type going to be my text field. Copy it from here, paste it. Now add field label, name, save it. Now I am going to create one more tab. In the tab also I am going to add one text field. Let's copy this and paste it at same location and rename it. This is going to be my tab 2 items and this is my CTA label. Update these property values also. Save it. Now let's open our dialog again. As you can see, there are two tabs available here. Inside each tab, there is one text field, but the tab title shows as none. Let's add some tab titles. Go to tab 1, add a title with JCR colon title, and my title going to be content. For tab 2, my title going to be CTA config. Click enter and save it. Now let's open the dialog again. Now you can see your content tab and CTA config tab. Let's add some values into it. This is teaser title, teaser CTA label. Click done. Now let's try to read these values using HTML. Before that, let's try to see how the content got stored in our content. For that, you have to go to the page, content demo, go to your page, find the teaser node. Okay, this is our teaser node and this is our title and this is our CTA label. So let's put a div class to read these properties. We have to use a global object called properties. Dot, I am trying to read title property, so I should put title. Similarly, button dollar properties dot CTA label. Save it. Now using HTL, added these two properties. Let's refresh our page. As you can see, this is my title and this is my CTL label. So where did these fields come from? From a library called Granite UI. Granite UI is AEM's built-in library of form fields. Text field, drop-down, checkboxes, date picker, path fields, multi-fields. They all live under libs in the repository and they are ready to use. Let me show it. As you can see, this is my text field. Copy this path, go here, enter /libs paste the path, click enter. So this is your text field component. This is text area, select, number field. These are all pre-existing Granite UI components. We can directly use it. This is present inside libs folder. Before we add rest of the fields, one property you must understand properly. You have already used it twice. Name. The name decides where the value is saved. /title means save a property called title on this component node in the page content. The / means right here on this component. This is the round trip you just watched. The author types in the dialog, AEM saves it into the repository, your HTL reads it back with properties.title. The name in the dialog and the property in HTL must match exactly, including upper and lower cases. If a field does not seem to save, check the name. If HTL shows nothing, check the name. Most dialog bugs are this one property. Today's teaser uses 6 field types. Together, they cover most of what you will ever need in real project. A text field. You have already built two of them, title and button label. The rich text, the path field, the checkbox, the select and multi-field. Remember the anatomy side. A text field has one flat node with few properties. Not every field is that simple. Three of today's fields carry more, and it's worth seeing why before we build them. The rich text editor. Two things to stand out. Its resource type does not even start with Granite. It is CQ, GUI, authoring, dialog, rich text. That is AEM's own editor, the same one authors use on page, and its features are switched on through a child node called RTE plugins with one child per plugin. Why child nodes? Because this is structured configuration. More than a single value can hold. Enable only what your design supports. Every feature you switch on is something your CSS has to handle. The select. Same idea. Every drop-down option needs two things. A text the author reads and a value that gets saved. That's the structure. Each option is child node under items. The checkbox. No child nodes here, but different properties. There is no field label. A checkbox uses text. Look at the values. Value true. Unchecked value false. When you select the checkbox, it will store the value as true. When you uncheck the checkbox, it will store the value as false. The rule behind all three, the resource type decides which property and child node a field understand. Simple fields are flat and every field's full options are in the reference document. I will attach in the description. Let's try to create remaining structure of the dialog. Now inside tab 1, I am going to create one field for rich text. Right click, create, node. Instead of creating one by one, let me copy it from text component. This is our text component. It doesn't have any dialog. So the dialog will be present inside this sling resource super type node. So copy this path, go here, /libs, / enter the path and click enter. Open this, you will be able to see your dialog. Open the tabs and this is the rich text field. Copy this, go here inside teaser component, paste it parallel to your title field. Now let me rename this. Description, description. Now save it. Now inside tab 2, I am going to create one checkbox and one path field. Let's create a path field first. This is going to be my link URL. Field label, link URL, name dot slash link URL, and its sling resource type is path field. Let's copy it from our PPT. This is the path field. Save it. Now let's create one more field for checkbox. Right click, create node, show CTA. Let's copy sling resource type of checkbox. Name dot slash show CTA. And as I mentioned earlier, checkbox will not have field label. It will have property called text. The requirement is simple. When users select show CTA checkbox, we need to display our button, or else we need to hide our button. Now I am going to create one more tab, tab 3. Let's add properties to our tab 3. And my tab 3 title going to be style. Save it. Inside tab 3, I am going to create node for items. Now I am going to create a drop down here. To create a drop down, we should use this sling resource type. Right click, create node, style, sling resource type is select, field label is teaser style, name is dot slash style. Save it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, dropdown is a structured component. So we have to create extra nodes for our dropdown. If you notice here, my select has default, highlight, and dark as dropdowns. Let's add these fields also. Create node and default, one more node, highlight, one more node for dark. Save it. And each node will have property, text, and value. So let's add those properties. Here my text going to be default. This is what the content author will see, and value default. D in default is in lowercase. This is what the value will get stored in content after submitting the dialog. Save it. Let's add highlight value and text highlight. Dark. Let's add text as dark and value as lowercase dark. Save it. Now I have added total 5 types of form fields: text field, path field, drop down, select, and rich text. Let's see how it will look like in the dialog. This is my rich text. When I go to CTA config, this is my path field, and this is my checkbox, and this is my drop down. Let's author this. I can style it also. Go to CTA config and link to my button. When I click on that button, it should take me to one of the AEM page. It will be AEM Insider, EN, and first component. And show CTA. When this checkbox is selected, I need to display my button, or else I need to hide it. Go to styles. Let's select style as highlight and click done. Now these values are stored in our content. Let's look into it. So I can see my link URL, CTA label, description, link URL, show CTA, styles, title. All the values are stored in. If you notice our description, it is stored as a HTML because rich text will always store authored content in the form of HTML. Let's try to read these properties and display in our page. For that, I already have some HTML in hand. Let me copy and paste it. Now, let's refresh our page. So I can see my title, rich text, and my CTA. And let's open this in View as Published. When user clicks View as Published, it will remove editor.html from the URL and it will append WCM mode equal to disabled in the URL. This is how an end user will see our page, and this is our page editor. Now let's add some styles to our component. Copy these styles and paste it into component. Save it. Let me refresh my page here. This is how it looks like now. Let's try to understand the HTML code that we have copied. When I go here, first you have a class with AEMI teaser hyphen dollar properties.style. Properties.style will try to get style property that was there in our content. I have style as highlight. So it will append this highlight to our class. So when I inspect here, And as you can see, AEM teaser highlight. Now let's try to change our style. Click here, go to styles, change it to dark and save it. Now check your content. Now it has changed to dark. Now this class going to update to dark here. Refresh. Yeah, as you can see, new class added here. And then we are reading title property and we are reading description. As I mentioned earlier, description is stored as HTML. To display HTML, we need to use @context HTML. Otherwise, it will display entire HTML in our page. That's why you are seeing this is rich text. If I remove this context, it will display entire HTML. See, let me revert it back. Save it. Now, there is one anchor tag. Here we need to understand two things. What is data slide test? Data slide test is nothing but if condition. If properties.showCTA, if this value is true, and properties.link URL, if link URL is available, then display, or else don't display. So first it will check properties.showCTA. As you can see, I don't have showCTA property here. That's why the link is not coming here. Let's author it again. Done. Now let's refresh. I can see my CTA. Let's refresh here. Now I can see show CTA. Let's try to understand how to create a multifield. This is how a simple multifield structure will look like. At the top, you will have a node with sling resource type as multifield. Inside that, you will have one more node with the name field. This field sling resource type going to be your actual field. Let's try to understand with an example. Go to CRXT. Here I am going to create one more tab for multifield. Let's add title to our tab. Highlights. Save it. Add sling resource type. Create items node. Now I am going to create highlights node. Its sling resource type going to be my multi-field. Inside that, I am going to create a node called field. And its sling resource type going to be my text field. And name dot slash highlights. You can add a field label to highlights node. Save it. Now let's check in the dialog. I got my highlights and this is my multi-field. You can add as many text fields as you want.
Let's add some data inside it. Highlight 1, highlight 2, highlight 3. Click done. I just noticed the CTA got disappeared. Let me check. Okay, let's check CTA node. Okay, here we forget to add value boolean true, unchecked value boolean false. Okay, now it is working. Now let's try to understand how the data got stored in repository. Go to your node, refresh this. You will be able to see one property called highlights and its type going to be string array, and these are all three values we have added here. Now let's try to read this using HTML. To read a multi-field, we need to use something called data slide list. Click enter and let's have a div and data slide list and highlights equal to dollar properties dot highlights, your property. Now what this data slide list will do is it will read your properties in the form of array. Consider it as a for loop here. So in each loop it will print one li here. If I put something like this, dollar and your object, save it. Now let's refresh our page. As you can see, I got my all three highlights here. Let me inspect. So this is our parent div. Inside that we have three LIs. This is how a simple multi-field will look like. Let's try to understand how to create a composite multi-field and nested multi-field. This is how the dialog structure will look like. At the top, you will have your highlights node. Inside that, again you are going to have your multi-field resource type, and then you will have one more property called composite equal to true. And then inside field, you will be having a container resource type. Earlier here we have text field. This time we are going to have a container and name also. After that, we are going to have items. Inside that, we are going to create our actual fields. Let's try to create composite multi-field. Go back to our dialog, highlights, and this is multi-field. Inside that I have field. Now I need to update this resource type to container. Copy this and paste it here. Save it. And we need to have one more property to our parent node, composite boolean true. Save it. Now inside field node, we are going to create our actual fields. Here I am going to create one text field and path field. Okay, first we have to create items node because it is a container, and then your text field. And this is going to have one property called name, and this time we are not going to add dot slash to our name property. This is only the scenario where we will not add dot slash to our name property. Save it. Now I am going to have link and name link. Let's copy resource type from here and paste it here and update it to path field. And you can add your field labels to these fields. Let's add field label here. Save it. Now let's see how it will look like in our dialog. Open your dialog, go to highlights, click add. Now you will be able to see two types of fields inside a multifield. This is called composite multifield, a text field and a path field. Let's add some values here. Highlights one, and this time I am going to put links of weekend project, weekend sites, EN, and let's add about and one more field for highlights too. Now I am going to add weekend site, English, EN, and adventure. Select. Now click done. Now let's try to understand how the values are stored in our repository. Go back to your teaser node in content, just refresh it. Now you will see a new node called highlights. Inside that, there are two nodes created, item 0, item 1. Item 0 has text and link, item 1 also have text and link. So how do we render all of this? Here is where HTL need a different tool. It's worth understanding exactly why. Everything we have rendered so far used properties object. Properties read simple values, title, link, style. But our highlights are not simple values. They are child nodes. And properties cannot see child nodes. So to render it, we need to use data style list. Let me create it. Here we have already used data style list for reading string array. Now we will use data style list reading child nodes also. But we are not going to use properties. Instead of that, we are going to use something called resource. So this is going to be resource dot children and save it. Now what will happen when I say resource.children? Teaser is your resource node, and when I say resource.children, it will loop all the child nodes inside teaser. As of now, inside teaser I have only one node. Here I am going to use a if condition. So here is the condition. First, I am going to check my child node name is highlights or not. Data slide list, our if condition, and highlights dot name. This is going to give my child node name. Now I am going to add one more condition here. Inside this UL, I am going to add data slide list items equal to dollar highlights dot children. Now first it will check this condition if my child node name is highlights or not. If it is true, then it will go here and it will check data slide list items equal to highlights dot children. So it will try to get all the child nodes of highlights node. Now I got item 0 and item 1 here. Now I am going to add one li for item 0 and item 1. Now inside li I am going to have an anchor tag. Now let's try to understand this line. Here, when I say items, this is the items object. When I say items dot value map, it will try to get items properties in a map. Here I have two properties, text and link. When I say items dot value map dot link, it will get me this property. So currently this is the value. So I have added extension as .html. And when I say items dot value map dot text, it will get me text value. Like that, because I have used data slide list, it will loop 2 times and it will print li 2 times. Let's check in the page. Okay, as you can see, I got my 2 anchor tags and 2 LIs. Okay, this is the anchor tag and it has our link and our first text, second link and our second text. Alright, this is called composite multifield. Now let's try to have nested multifield. Multifield inside a multifield. To create a multifield inside a multifield, we just need to repeat the structure. That's it. So here I am going to have one more node for my multifield points and sling resource type is going to be multifield, composite true. Inside that again field and its sling resource type going to be again container, and then I am going to have my name, points, and then items, again same structure, and then text. Let's try to create this in Dialog. Save it and update these 2 points, and then a field node. Save it, copy these properties, sorry, points, save it. Inside that, I'm going to create items node and then a text field. Copy this and paste it. Now let's try to see how it will look like in the dialog. Open your dialog, go to highlights. Now you will see a new field called points inside our composite multifield. So I can click here, I can say point 1 and point 2. Here also let me author it, point 1 and point 2. If you add one more thing, you will get text, link and points again. Okay, let's try to save it and see how it will look like in content repository. Go to CRXTE, refresh your highlights node. Now inside item 0, I got one more node called points, and points has item 0, item 1 and it has text properties. Similarly, items 1 also I have points, item 0, item 1. Now, how to read this? Again, same structure. Till now, we have read item 0 and item 1 here. Again, I'm going to have one more loop. I'm going to create now I have created a div and here I'm going to use data style list group grp. This is our item dot children. So our item will be item 0 and when I say item dot children it will get me points. Now I am going to have a test condition ul data slide test dollar grp dot name. Here again I am checking the child node name. I am checking if it is points or not. If it is point, then I am going to loop it again. Data slide list point equal to our group dot children. Now I will get item 0 and item 1. From these nodes, I am going to read a property called text. To read a property, we have to use this one. Let's add a li and this is going to be a point dot value map dot text. We are trying to read text property here. That's it. Now let's refresh our page here. As you can see, my points are came here. This is the HTML structure. You can copy and use it in our system. And the last topic is validation. Granite gives you a basic simple properties called required, max length, empty text, field description. Required. If we add required property to any of the field, the author cannot save the dialog while this field is empty. Max length, a hard limit on number of characters that author can use inside a field. And these two are helper text. If you did not author anything, whatever value you have used in empty text, that will be shown in the actual field. And this is used as a helper text as a tooltip. Let's try to add these properties to our one of our text field. Required. Go to your dialog and in tab 1 I have a title field. Let's try to add required boolean true, and then max length. This is going to be long and 15, and then empty text. This is going to be string, and then field description. And save it. Let's open our dialog. After adding required field, you will see this star mark here. If I remove this title from here and when I try to save it, it will not allow it because this is a required field. You have to put something in it. And second thing, this is empty text. This is coming from empty text property. Now let me add some text here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, it is not allowing more than these many characters. It will allow maximum 15 characters in this field because I have added a max length property. Now the last one is field description. This will come as a tooltip here. Generally, field description will be used to give instruction to content author. Now let's go to CRXT, copy this path of text field, go to Google and search it, and click on first link, and then go to this link. These are all different form fields that are available in Granite UI. You can check each and everything and you can add those properties. Let's check for text field. So these are all properties we can use for text field. Name, values, empty text, disable. All these we can use in our text field. Similarly, there are so many fields that are available like number field, multifield, file upload. You can verify them and you can use it. I will add this link in the description also. And that's the deep dive. A brand new component, a dialog built node by node, 4 tabs, 6 field types, multi-field inside a multi-field, validation, and you understood every single node along the way. So what's next? In coming episode, I am going to explain about editable templates. We are going to create our own template and we are going to create pages using that template, how every page gets its structure, policies, initial content. All these things we are going to cover in next session. If this series is helping you, subscribe and drop a comment. I read all of them. This was AEM Insider. See you in next one.